Behind them, Arthur Thompson and Jack Harper on row 4. Harry Wass and Cal Tennant are on row 5. Row 6 is Teddy Smith, Jensen, James Williams. Freddie Purnell and Nico Mohan are on row 7. Row 8 is Frank Pearson and Edge Dera. Bobby Slater and Oakley Howlett are next up. Elliot Hitch and Tommy Lovejoy first afternoon on his MightE Bambino kart, and Oliver Yap rounding off the 21 kart field.
We've had our mystery has been solved. The owner of the legs. The owner of the legs is
Nick Madge. He's the Joe Tandy Racing team manager, so he is helping out.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you to, and who was that? Who was there? That would be Ian McKenzie. Thank you very much, Ian, for highlighting that. Now, obviously, there are 21 drivers in this race. We know the majority of you online are supporting one of the drivers. We are here to support all the drivers equally. Now, championship-wise, you've got Heath Smith leading the championship. Second in the point standings is Arthur Rhodes, who has won both finals.
Won both finals, yeah.
But of course, the championship is decided on heat points, super heat points, and then final points. Obviously, final points are weighted a bit heavier.
Yes.
As we now get set to go for the first main event of this event.
And it's a standing start. The green flag is waved at the rear of the grid to tell us everybody's in position. We await to see the red lights go out, and these MightE Bambinos will fire off the line. Complete silence as well. All you can hear is the tyre squeal. And it's Felix Tandy with alongside him Heath Smith slotting in behind. And then the next kart up will be Arthur Rhodes. And they hug that white line on the right-hand side up the Dragon Straight towards Spoon. And again, defensive driving on this early lap here.
Harry Wass, if we have a look back at the start, Harry Wass in the orange crash helmet, he dove to the inside, clipped into the kart, almost took out Mr. Ashton, and then recovered and was on the grass also, and now he's had a spin. That is a terrible first lap for Harry Wass. He is the proverbial ball in the pinball machine.
Yes, right under the nose of Mr. Ashton as well. It's a learning experience, though. As a challenge for second, though, as Arthur Rhodes goes down the inside of Heath Smith. Heath Smith's round the inside, and now he has the ideal line for the left-hander at the compression through the right-hand part. Devil's elbow here. Felix Tandy's the leader, though, on the E-plate through the final turn. It's side-by-side racing through the final turn. And it will be Heath Smith, Arthur Rhodes, Logan Edwards, Sofoglu, Luca Pede, Jack Harper, Arthur Thompson, Bobby Slater, Jensen James Williams. That's your top 10. But the race up to Spoon continues.
Heath Smith, so in terms of the official Motorsport UK classes, I keep records of all the statistics. Heath Smith is now tied with Ralph Martin, last year's MightE champion, for the most podiums in the history of this class. Of course, we're only in the second year of this category. Arthur Rhodes is now tied for the amount of wins with Ralph Martin for the most wins of all. Heath Smith still looking for that first victory. He's taken heat wins, super heat wins. Now he is leading a final.
Yes.
Again, can he hold on? Long way to go.
And Felix Tandy went from first to fourth to third in the blink of an eye. Here he is. Felix Tandy ends up on the outside through turn 5, and then he has nowhere to go. And that gap that he wants to fill is filled by the number 21 of Logan Edwards. He finds a way around, and now they settle in as they get towards Spoon. Heath Smith, Arthur Rhodes, Felix Tandy, Logan Edwards, Zane Sofioglu. There are 5 karts there, absolutely glued together. Now that train of karts down towards the carousel. They stay in position, but this is the part, Henry, where they start crowding one another. And with 7.5 minutes, remember, 10 minutes in one lap, a little bit longer for the finals here. And this is where we saw action before, but this one, a little bit more settled now. Yeah,
the worrying thing would be is that Heath Smith has already seen you coming up out of the carousel into turn number 5. Felix Tandy went wide, took the normal racing line a lap ago, and got swamped.
Yeah.
So the temptation would be to defend going through there every lap now. That would simply increase the number of drivers in this group, because Luca Pede in 6th, he's 1.4 seconds off the lead group at the moment. Arthur Thompson in 7th. Jack Harper has been given a 5-second penalty. So Harper in the number 6 kart. And there's a move from Sofawoglu at the carousel, side by side, and he picks up P4 from Logan Edwards.
Great move there by Zane there, and the number 54 down the inside. Now the challenge for Zane Sofoglu is to catch the top 3 and join in for this battle, is effectively a battle for the win, a battle for the trophy, a battle to stand on that first step of the podium through the final turn, across the line. Smith, Rhodes, Tandy, Sofoglu, Edwards, a little bit of a gap to Luca Pede, Arthur Thompson, Jack Harper, Bobby Slater, Teddy Smith is now your top 10. But this 3 beginning to break away from Sofoglu in 4th place. The question is, if these 3 start battling and these 3 start squabbling,
they will.
Sofoglu will come back towards them.
Yes, and he may bring Logan Edwards with him as well. The question is, how long will these 3 leave it before they do battle? Now, let's recap. Arthur Rhodes, is not the championship leader. He's won both finals so far this year. One more final win will take him top spot on the all-time MightE Bambino's winners list. Felix Tandy hasn't won in this class in a final since this event last year. Heath Smith may lead the championship, but he hasn't won a final yet.
Yeah.
So each of these 3 drivers have got a very, very good reason to battle tooth and nail for the win. And that could play into the hands of the 2 drivers chasing them, Zane Sofawoglu and Logan Edwards, because there's no tactics will come into play here. This is the halfway point of the championship.
Yeah, an halfway point of the race, actually, Henry, as we head down the hill towards the carousel. The 2 leaders beginning to break a bit of a cushion to Felix Tandy. That will disappear in the blink of an eye as Heath Smith continues to lead. And it's all about keeping that optimum line at this point in the race. Nobody's going to really risk losing a chunk of time as the 3 of them. And if I remember rightly, back to round 2 of the 2024 Kart Championship, it was Felix Tandy about this point in the track now that he made the move for the lead on the last lap, and it really came. But it's clearly a track that Felix likes and enjoys. He had a 6th place in the final at round 1. He had a 6th place in the final at round 2. And here we are. He's had 2 heat wins. A heat win and a super heat win. So he goes really well here. And at this point, just coming up to 3.5 minutes, I would not like to bet even a penny on which of these 3, maybe even 4 or 5 drivers are going to take this victory.
Now, of course, at Shenington, Zane Sofawoglu on the road finished 2nd, but was then given a penalty for overtaking under a yellow flag. So Turkey is still waiting for their first Motorsport UK British Kart Championship podium finisher.
Right.
So far this year, we've had our first American one, Zev Gottschalk in Water Swift Restricted. We've had other nationalities claim. Singapore have claimed their first British Championship podium, but that's in a different championship. This is obviously Turkey looking for their first.
Well, the gap, I'll tell you, the gap has gone out to 1.8.
Yes,
between Zane and Felix. Felix on the black and blue kart, that's the 3rd place kart. The kart ahead of him in the light blue overalls, Arthur Rhodes, and then the orange and yellow helmet is Heath Smith. And as you said too, never been off the podium so far this season. However, he'll want to improve on that 3rd step, Henry.
And I'm wondering, because some of our Turkish friends on the live chat are now communicating in English, and this could be so. One of them has said, let me have a little look. It was that David J. Milan saying that Zane lost 1.1 seconds on that last lap. That could be an issue. Well, not necessarily, because of course these 3 drivers are working together. They're pushing each other along. They're using the slipstream effect. Of course, like if you're on a motorway and you tuck in behind a lorry, suddenly the car you're in picks up a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
They're using, so there's 12 wheels working together. Zain Sofooglu is all on his own. He's got no slipstream. We've seen that the slipstream per lap around here is worth an extra half a second, sometimes a little bit more. So there's nothing Zain can do. He's just on his own in his own air.
It works a bit like NASCAR. I mean, I don't know the figures. An aerodynamicist would tell us the exact science by putting numbers to what we see.
Yeah.
But what we see is, in effect, 3 karts punching a hole through the air a lot easier than one kart who's taking all of that air across the front of the kart, and it does cost time. What will happen, though, as soon as and we're just over a minute, so that time is coming,
yes.
what I'm about to say.
Yep.
Once these 3 start trying to overtake one another, Zain Sofooglu will come back. The gap is only, it's gone out to 2.3, but that 2.3 seconds will disappear. And we're getting towards that time in this race for top honours, which these 3 are at the moment. Therefore, we are getting towards that time where we're going to see attempts or movement in those 3 positions. And it's coming very, very soon.
Yes, none of these 3 will want to settle for second. That is certain. Heath Smith has done all the hard work yet again.
Yeah.
He is not going to want it snatched away from him because, they're at championships up for grabs, but he will want that victory. Now he starts to move around. Now Arthur Rhodes, eyeing a 3rd win in a row, begins to ask the questions. 2 laps to go.
There was about 6 seconds on the clock there. That gave them 2 laps. So 2 more laps. Not very many opportunities for passing in 2 more laps. It's going to be, especially in these electric Bambinos, the MightE Bambino, exactly the same lap time as a petrol engine kart. However, the lap time comes in a kind of different way than the petrol engine karts do. And these 3 just showing us that still they're so close, and maybe they won't attempt to overtake one another because the opportunities may not just be there, because Heath Smith, Arthur Rhodes, Felix Tandy, they are absolutely flat out on these karts. And the moment you start going overdriving and making the odd mistake, missing your braking point, missing your apex, that's going to cost you. And already we're seeing a little bit of a variation on a line from Felix, having a look and seeing what's an opportunity.
I am very, very surprised that nobody has made the move yet, although now Rhodes is going to have to go to the outside, and he's going to have to hope that Tandy goes with him. Will he look to the outside? No, they hug the white line all the way down the Dragon Straight up to Spoon Curve, and this is where Heath Smith's got to be careful that the pushing and shoving doesn't get a little bit too much. Tandy thinks about it.
Tandy was kind of where he didn't want to be, and it's side by side into the carousel. This might allow Tandy, if Arthur Rhodes trips over the leader, Heath Smith, time running out. This is Tandy's favourite spot, though. We're coming towards turns 5 and 6. Side by side action into 5. This is turn 6 now. Nothing changes, though. Heath Smith leads through the left-hander and then into the compression here. Time running out, and Felix Tandy just dropping off the tail of Arthur Rhodes. It's going to be side-by-side into the final turn, and it's going to be side-by-side across the line. But it's Heath Smith that takes the win by 0.08 of a second from Arthur Rhodes. Felix Tandy 3/10 behind. Zain Sofooglu a lonely 4th place. Arthur Thompson 5th. Logan Edwards 6th. Jack Harper 7th. 8th is Bobby Slater. Luca Peed was 9th, and that's Teddy Smith rounding off your top 10. The rest of the field coming through: Jensen James Williams in 11th, Cal Tennant 12th, Harry Wass in 13th, Nico Mohan, Elliot Hitch, Frank Pearson through in 16th, Tommy Lovejoy, Edge Deera, Oakley Howlett and Oliver Yap, the final finisher there.